You'll be alright.
Yeah, should be right. Bit hilly, but the weather is also a little bit kinder than it was over the Dutch Grand Prix as well here in Germany. Look how many tents and caravans and whatnot are in the background there. Such a well-supported Grand Prix, well over 100,000 tickets sold. Won't be that many today, of course, on a Friday, but coming into Saturday and Sunday, really excited to see this place at full capacity. One of the ones I would recommend people coming to if you ever get the chance, if you're in Europe or outside of Europe and fancy a Grand Prix in this part of the world, and the Saxon Ring. You can't really go too much wrong with this place.
Just about to say exactly the same. It's the one where you always say if you want to do MotoGP properly, you don't even have to camp. You can stay within the small towns just all around here. Uber Leibitz isn't too far away where we were playing football last night, Al. There's some great places, some great undiscovered gems in this part of Germany. You're not that far away from Chemnitz. We spoke about Chemnitz this morning. Dresden is borders an hour away, or just over an hour away from here, so plenty of flights in there. It's one of those ones where really you do get rewarded for a sense of exploration. Similar to Brno as well, that's another. Austria's a belter, a wreck, another one, Le Mans as well, and we don't need to go on about Mugello. We know how special Mugello is, but there's a real good cluster of perhaps slightly more underrated than their big heavyweights of, like I say, Mugello. Aston is another, as well as Barcelona. There's some real good ones you can get stuck into. Okay, talking of getting stuck in, that is a Max Kilos fall, and that is a big one at turn 7. Max Kilos has taken... A piece of a battering here, the stretch has come out. Turn 7 is the downhill left-hand, it's not right at the bottom of the hill, I don't believe it's this one here. Oh, what has happened there? King went over by his bike as he's fallen off. He must have had a massive rear-end moment and almost saved it, but Max Kilos, your championship leader by 90 points, has had a massive fall off. The downhill left-hander, he's not the right at the bottom of the hill, I don't believe it's this one here. Oh, but that was a big one for Max Kilos. That's the biggest one of his season so far. Falling off. He must have had a
early doors in practice for that motorcycle.
his bike as the watch is on, and the stretcher has come out.
Circuit anywhere on the calendar, you don't have to practice. Anywhere at 7, 8 through 9, 10 and 11 down in 12 as well.
Two things to touch on here, Al. The first one is in Moto3 and Moto2, one bike only. That bike took an absolute flyer, so the Asphalt team now are going to be rounding up the mechanics probably on both sides of the bottom if they can afford to, and getting that bike fixed as well as possible and as quickly as possible. Should Max Kilos be able to get back out onto the track. The second thing is where he's crashed. He's pressed on the outer loop, so essentially, if you look at it on a map, we're right in the middle of the track here. The start-finish rate hasn't changed at all in 100 years of this place being here, but the permanent circuit loops back round, and we are right in the middle, and Max Kilos probably crashed there, although he could be much further away from pit lane, so we've got to wait a little bit until we can get the bike back. So there's a couple of things there to keep an eye on. When that Max Kilos number 28 CF Moto Gary after Asphalt machine comes back rolling through, and when the rider comes back, and also
rapatkan kalau gelap datang, kau yang menyalakan, kau yang menyalakan, kau yang
side, and he handed himself into Niccolo Canapa, who was on the outside. That was in MotoGP qualifying, that was in the rain as well. So turn 7, we have seen those big high sides before, but very, very rarely in Moto3 because they're going pretty steady round there, as in fast, but there's not too much lean angle.
Pretty Sean, this is where Matteo Battelli at turn 7 a couple of years ago did his knee ligaments as well. A high side out of there in the race as well. So yeah, turn 7 has caught out the best, and the very best in Moto3 as things stand is of course Max Keeler's 90 points clear of Alvaro Carpe in the championship. A quiet morning this morning for Keeler, P11, and absolutely not the way he would have wanted to start his afternoon session here at the Saxon Ring. So hopefully for Keeler and the team's sake, he can get back out in the final 28 minutes at some point, get a couple of laps on the board, no matter how many it is, get back out there, try and iron out any of the issues before you go into Saturday morning, because as things stand, this session is crucial for Keeler as well, but Saturday morning in FP2 could be absolutely crucial if he misses the rest of this session to get some laps on the board.
25.9 was the fastest lap this morning. We're down to a 26.1 already in the opening 7 minutes of this one. That Spa, and that has been set by Ryan Ariato on the 26.110, just 300 of a second ahead of Joel Kelso, and then Jesus Rios, who, worth noting, Jesus Rios and Max Keeler's had a little bit of a, I wouldn't say coming together, but on-track escapade earlier. Rios was coming through the final corner and indicated, well, was slow on the racing line and indicated to come in the pit lane. That wasn't deemed enough by the stewards. He's not been given a heavy penalty. It was a official warning. So do it again and you find yourself probably with a long lap.
Yeah, exactly that. Just wasn't quite aware of his surroundings, was he, Rios, coming towards the end of the session. Maybe just thought everyone had crossed the line, took the checkered flag, but Keeles was on a quick lap behind him, and you've got to be a little bit more aware. So yeah, right for the stewards to give Rios a bit of a warning, a bit of a slap on the hand, and just say, if you do that again, you're going to be heading for a penalty, which is obvious. Rios will know that as well. Just a little bit of a mistake. These things can happen, not the first nor the last time we'll to see that.
Nico Salmella at the moment coming across the line in 7th place. He was 8th and 5th in the Red Bull Rookies races here at the Saxon Ring, so he's got good pedigree around here, Salmella, and he's in a good vein of form as well. It's fair to say that the 11th place that the official classification is going to give him from Aston is probably not representative of where we expect him to be, because he was crossing the line in 5th. He had a double long lap penalty equivalent added onto his time at the end of the race, but the long lap penalty lane in Aston was not active for the Moto3 Grand Prix, but Rico Salmella is finding his feet now in Moto3.
Yeah, it certainly is. If I'm in Rico's shoes, I'll be taking that P5 and taking the result sheets before it. I think the 6-second penalty was unfortunate, really. The long lap penalty over in Aston on the Sunday morning for Moto3 was wet. Another crash then down at turn 7. This is not going to be a slow one, as we saw for Maximo Keeles.
Remember, was it last year at the Senna Aegis in Moto2, that massive save coming through there? So you can maybe save it and run it out towards the barrier, but judging by where that yellow...
so I'd be green power machine potentially?
Yeah, I think that is either Cruces or Ogden, and confirmation on our screen it is Adrian Cruces, all with Guido Pini as well. Well, that is quite big, and we can see the number 94 walking away and the bike as well, and also Cruces running. Here we go. Oh, dearie me, this is going to be scary. And it's a high side for Pini, which leaves Cruces with nowhere to go. And that is a big old fall at turn 7 in the opening stages. It's just like I was saying earlier on with the incident with Canepa and Hayden. You crash there together, and there's not a lot of room. There's not a lot you can even do, but great to see both riders at least up on their feet.
Yeah, exactly that. Cruces just taking a little bit longer to get back up on his feet, but just saw him there on the service road trying to sort the bike out. Again, Cruces in the wrong place at the wrong time. Of course, he was involved in that Carpe incident when Carpe crashed over at turn 5 in Aston just in front of him, left Cruces with absolutely nowhere to go. And there again, can't do anything about Pini having a bit of a high side. In terms of the rear end coming round on him, it wasn't the biggest for Pini, but a very quick part of the circuit as well. So Pini crashing right in front of Cruces. Cruces nowhere to go. Thankfully, they're both back up on their feet. But that's 3 riders down then at turn 7 in the opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, and as we said about Keeles, those riders, they looked okay and they're going to get back, but they've got to get their bikes back down. If the marshals are already busy there, they're going to have to wait a little while until someone else can come and get them. In terms of the vehicle recovery, that is what I'm talking about. This is the news about David Almanza, who will take no further part in Friday's session due to fever. We already covered that off right at the top of the show. The rider who is third in this championship at the moment, missing all of Friday action here at the Saxon Ring. So get well soon, David, and also to the other David in that team, David Munoz, if you're listening. But Jürgen Ling is going to be looking through the rider replacement list this week, because he's already got Marcus Uriarte on one of the bikes. Marcus Uriarte going really well at the moment, up in 4th place. He won't want another one. Thankfully, we've got a summer break to come, so if it is an illness for Almanza that takes me out the weekend, surely he'll be okay for Silverstone.
You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? The top two from last time out over in Assen, currently not on circuit. Yellow flags again then at turn 3. Now, turn 3, Kiko, so far this weekend has proved a pinch point. There's a little bit of a bump that didn't seem to be there last year. Caught out Marc Marquez, caught out Franco Morbidelli, caught out Celestino Vietti, caught out Hakim Denise this morning. And it's Scott Ogden now that looks like has been caught out, well, not by that bump, to be honest, because that isn't the sort of section where we've seen the bump yet, much earlier in the corner for him, and that bike takes a little bit of a barrel roll as well.
That's the second crash of the day for Scott Ogden as well. So Scott is down in the gravel again for the second time. Earlier on it was turn 13 where he touched the front. This time it's turn 3. So Scott Ogden not having a lot of luck on Friday. More yellow flags at turn 3. I wonder if that's just because we got a rider walking through the gravel, or whether we have an all-new incident altogether. We'll wait and see. All clear on the exit, so I think it's just because someone's getting that bike out of the way and yellow flag has gone in, so it looks like we're all good to go again. But a very, very dramatic opening 15 or so minutes here. Well, we came off air earlier, or I came off air earlier when I caught up with you over lunch. I said it was a bit of a slow burner this morning. Well, we've had anything but this afternoon. It has been quite the opener to practice, and I remind you, this is a session that counts. This is the one that seeds them into Q1 or Q2. So a lot of crashes that are going to hurt a lot of riders, not physically, but in terms of their aspirations for pole and Q2 protesting.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in this weekend, watch out for that turn 3 on the exit when the riders come back through a sort of second apex, or they power it back up the hill towards turn 4 and 5, and then of course come down the hill through 6 and 7. The exit of turn 3 is a little bit of a bump that has caught out a few riders so far this weekend. Hasn't caught out anyone in this session so far. They would of course have known about it from FP1 and watching the Moto2 and MotoGP sessions as well. So obviously a little bit more aware of it than they were this morning. But do watch out for that when the riders are pushing in time attack mode, trying to fight for a bit of track position. Turn 3 has caught out a lot of riders so far this weekend across all platforms.
Ryusei Yamanaka was up inside the top 5 earlier on today, just crossed the line, and he's in 16th place at the moment. He was 11th to 6th in the Saxon Ring in 2024. His best qualifying there here was a 6th in 2022. So not tearing up trees, Ryusei Yamanaka, but his top 6 form this morning has been normal here in recent years. It's just not quite getting him in that top 4, top 3 just yet.
Yeah, it's more like the Yamanaka we were used to seeing, and talking of seeing, absolutely, Rico, that is good to see. Keyless coming back to the garage, walking not too gingerly as well. Obviously, be a bit battered and bruised from that fast off. You can tell by the leathers. He's had a big one as Keyless. If you're just joining us, Keyless turn 7. He goes down, thumbs up, which is good news. Caught his breath and looks all okay, which is great. Here's another replay of it. Shame we didn't get the sort of start of it, because clearly something happened through the mid-corner and on the exit for Keyless, who tumbles through the gravel. Didn't see the bike back in the garage there, Kiko, and we've got a view of the Aspar garage. I don't think we have from our commentary position, so I'll try and keep an eye out. I've got a bit of a view, but not a great one, so if we do see the bike rolling back with pit lane, if we don't get it on the TV screens, then we'll bring that to you. But yeah, a rebuild job on for the Aspar mechanics now.
Yeah, shaken but not stirred just yet for Max Keyless. He'll be waiting to see if he can get out and go gangbusters right at the end of this to try and get himself up into the top 14. But for now, Brian Uriarte is leading the way ahead of Joel Kelso. Jesus Rios, your top Honda from Assen there in 3rd place. Marcus Uriarte, super sub for David Munoz in 4th. Adrian Cruz says a crasher with Guido Pini is there in 5th place. Denise, your winner from Bruno 6th. Carpe fastest this morning in 7th. Solmella 8th. Ninth from the rally, Esteban Batali, O'Shea. Ogden, another crasher, and on your screen right now, I can tell you he has not headbutted it. He did crash it at turn 3. And Adrian Fernandez, your 14, going through at the moment. There is Scott Ogden. You can see him there communicating with the team, but not quite sure what he's gesticulating about just there. But they're going to need to change the front fairing on that one, El, because the bubble had burst.
Yeah, certainly so. Obviously, for Ogden, as you rightly mentioned, 70 crash today. Hopefully, not another one coming for Ogden, because that's a fairly damaged motorcycle. No issues to get back out on the circuit for the final 17, 15 minutes, or when we go into time attack mode, that's 10 minutes. Now I can see some asphalt mechanics running down pit lane. Does that mean a Max Keeler's machine is about to re-enter the fray in terms of pit lane and be wheeled back up to the garage? There's a couple of mechanics jogging down pit lane, and I think the bike is about to be recovered. So it's taking its time. Kiko rightly mentioned it's the part of the circuit, A, that's really quick, you obviously don't want to crash at, and B, pretty much the furthest point you can get from the gravel. That's Guido Pini. That is a proper second looking there for Honda.
Yeah, it's not meant to look like that, I don't think. If you're just tuning in for the first time, it's not meant to have a load of scrape marks and dents and around the side of it. We stood up here in commentary just trying to see whether or not we've got an Aspar machine going down pit lane. We've got a Leopard mechanic running up and down pit lane as well. So a lot of bikes have gone missing because of these crashes. Good to see Guido Pini was riding it back at least. Maybe not under its own steam, but at least moving its wheels in the right direction. So we'll wait to see whether Guido Pini can get that back or not. At the moment, nothing moving in front of our comms position. We do have a pretty ideal comms position this weekend because we are right in front of the pit lane. Unfortunately, we can't see all 700 metres of it, but that's fairly standard. So Leopard mechanics have gone running down, so I wonder if that's the first one back. By virtue that Guido Pini is riding it back down.
Yeah, exactly that. We'll keep you up to date if we see any bikes coming back into pit lane. Meanwhile, Brian Ariarte 6P1, and I was impressed with, I've been impressed with Ariarte for the last few Grand Prix. Of course, picked up a debut victory over the Jello, backed that up with the P2 over in Brno, in between those, the P4 over in Hungary as well, and was slightly disappointed, I think, with the P6. Had a couple of moments, just defined his race. He had a couple of close calls, both hampered him slightly, and he feels Ariarte, if he hadn't have lost a bit of time, he would have been right in that podium hunt, potentially victory hunt as well, if he was the fastest rider on circuit in the closing stages. But he's turned a real corner in the last few Grand Prix. Brian Ariarte knows he's got the pace now to, of course, win a Grand Prix, because he's already done it, and he's already stood on the podium after that as well. And P6 was his worst result, actually, in the last 4 Grand Prix, which is pretty good going for a rookie. So, yeah, Ariarte is really on song, and after a bit of a troubled start to his season, not a bad one, but he didn't have the feeling he wanted in pre-season. That continued over into the season proper, but now Ariarte is feeling really comfortable on that KTM in his surroundings as well in the IO box, and he's sounding like a really confident rider.
He is our most recent double champion in Red Bull Rookies and Moto Junior, as well as being a winner here at the Saxon Ring last year in Red Bull Rookies from the front row of the grid. I can tell you Guido Pini's bike has made it back down pit lane. The Leopard mechanics were running for a reason, and they have managed to get hold of the number 94 Leopard Honda. Guido Pini is in tow, but the mechanics are getting that bike back now. Pini and Cruces crashed at around 21.5 minutes up to the clock, I think. So that's taken them 6 minutes. We're yet to see the Max Kilo's number 28 machine back in yet. So, and judging by the fact that the Aspar team were originally running and then were probably told it's not their bike that's coming up, they're probably still waiting. We have to wait and see. That's the 94 Guido Pini bike. You can see the front of it absolutely smashed to pieces. Let's see what they can do. The Leopard guys are very, very experienced down there. Bruno Corricini in there, celebrating his 30th year of being in this paddock. The large chap with the grey hair on top. He has pretty much seen it all. Let's see if they can work some magic to get Guido Pini back out. At the moment, Guido Pini is in 16th place and not moving through into Q2.
Yeah, Emilio Azamora there as well by the side of Guido Pini. I'm sure plenty of people know that Emilio Azamora was the Marquez brothers' manager for numerous years in their pomp a few years ago before they moved on to pastures new. Guido Pini clearly got pace, clearly got a lot of talent and a lot of speed. He's a Grand Prix winner in Moto3, but the one thing you would say about Pini is he's just hitting the deck a little bit too often. I make that 12 crashes now this season for Guido Pini. Only Cormac Buchanan, I think, has more than Pini so far this season. So while Pini has shown great promise on that Leopard Honda, it's not quite worked out in the last few Grand Prix after his debut victory over in Austin. Just needs to iron out these mistakes that have crept into his game in Moto3. Like I say, there's no doubt the Italian has bags of talent and is capable of winning Grand Prix and finishing on the podium on a regular basis and on the front row here last year in Germany with the Intact team as well. Still getting used to the Honda, of course. That takes a little bit of time, as we've seen from numerous riders, including John, also very experienced in Moto, getting lesser in this class. But just needs to cut out some of these small mistakes. Crashes are always going to happen. It's part and parcel. But to hit 12 crashes in half the season is a little bit too much, I think.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is that thankfully over the last few rounds, not too many big high sides that we've seen quite a lot of Guido Pini last year. I think back to Vandaliga when he had that absolutely enormous one. But I think he had one in Guyana. Can't remember if it was Guyana or Kota, he had a big one as well. So at least that high side was a rather gentle one. It laid him out the front door, and thankfully the bike was able to protect him from the incoming Adrian Cruzes. Right, 20 riders are within 1 second here. It's tight at the Saxon Ring, 10.6 kilometres. 12 and a half minutes or so left on this clock, so we are not too far away from going full-time attack mode. Casey Gorman crossed the line here and he's aimed 18th place. Now, Casey Gorman struggled a little bit this morning, it's got to be said. He's only 19th. Unfortunately for O'Gorman, let's just talk about him if we can for a moment, Al. He has been very, very much up and down, and by up and down I genuinely mean points DNF. That's been the pattern, and that is the pattern that is continuing into this weekend. Points last time out, so the sequence of a DNF this weekend. He'll be hoping that that is not what happens. Looking back at him in Red Bull Rookies at the Saxon Ring, 25th of the grid in 2022, came with 6th and 10th. So we know Casey Gorman on a Sunday will get his elbows out, but probably just needs to find a little bit of extra something in terms of A, his consistency, and B, today, his pace.
Yeah, for sure, consistency is what O'Gorman will be searching for.
Like all rookies.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very sort of rookie-esque season, let's say. Not all rookies enter the class as double champions like Brian Ariarte and are able to win Grand Prix. That isn't really the norm, and O'Gorman, to be fair to him, is stringing together a very impressive rookie campaign, it's got to be said. So he's obviously in that front group when he crashed out over in Brno. It was a big crash as well, so he did well, actually, did the Irishman, to come back in Assen, not absolutely 100% fit, and get back into that top 10. Was happy with his pace as well. Was the Irishman over at the Dutch Grand Prix, and has had 5 top 10s overall in 2026, which isn't bad going at all. It has been a roller coaster season for sure, but one thing you will say about O'Gorman is when he is on it and when he's not crashing, he's got real pace and real potential, easily inside that top 10. Very used to seeing O'Gorman inside that top 10, so yeah, he'll be hoping to, of course, get into the top 14 primarily in this session. He's only had one Q2 appearance automatically since Jerez, and that was a P6 on a Friday finish over in Hungary. So O'Gorman would want him to get back into the top 14 on a Friday, but I've been impressed so far this season with the 67.
He's been brilliant, hasn't he, at times? He's been absolutely brilliant. We knew that Casey Gorman would do this. And like we say, very, very exciting prospect for the future. We're in that lull at the moment, or we were. Everyone now just starting to head out on track. And it's Marco Morelli who's going to lead them out of the pits. Valentin Peroni needs a lap time here. He's down in 20th place. So a lot of work still to do for the Argentinian. I can tell you that half a second covers your top 11 and less than a second cover your top 20 in exactly less than 8 tenths as well. So 1.2 covering P1 to P22. Eduardo Gutierrez, of course, we can't really read and expect too much into him because it is his debut. He's 3.6 off Brian Uriarte at the very, very top. As
That's not going back out.
No, what Guido Pini has done there is turned that Honda into a jigsaw and left it for the mechanics and everyone to put it back together. But I'm not a mechanic, that's fairly obvious, that's why I'm up here. But I can pretty much work out with 9 minutes on the clock, that needs a little bit more work.
Your eyesight's not great as well, so you've done well to
Even with Russell.
work that one out. No, that's...
Still scored more goals than you this year.
Guido Pini is not heading back out for this session. The mechanics clearly not in a rush to get that rebuild underway, and you can't really blame them either when there's that much of a job on. The last thing you want to do is rush things, potentially get them wrong under pressure. It's only Friday. Yes, Fridays are massively important now in Grand Prix motorcycle racing, finishing in the top 14 in Moto3, Moto2. Can make or break sometimes a weekend, and Pini will be heading through Q1. The last thing you want to do, though, is send him back out potentially with something still wrong on the motorcycle, causing danger to Pini and, of course, the other riders on circuit as well. Leopard, obviously a very experienced team, know that they're not going to get that bike fixed and repaired in the final 8 minutes, and neither is that one. Obviously, first bar.
Look what's just rolled back through. The number 28, Max Healy. Now that took 20 minutes out. That's taken 20 minutes. That's well worth noting in the future for any other crashes at that section of circuit. Moto2, MotoGP, of course, coming up straight after this Moto3 session. But 20 minutes to get that bike moved back from the outside of turn 7 all the way back to the Aspar box. So I think the Aspar box as well is quite far down pit lane, which means it's right far back up pit lane. If they come in, they've got to come right back down the box and then back up again. So a long time wasted there. Well, not wasted, taken. And unfortunately, a session wasted for Max Healy because that is not going to get back out. I'm afraid with 7.5 minutes to go. Okay, fast times incoming. It's a 25.959 for Joel Esteban, which is the fastest lap of the day so far until Jesus Rios went and put a 25.904 in. So number 54 off the back of his career best result in Grand Prix racing last time out a couple of weekends ago. The number 54 from Marbella going very strong indeed. Esteban second. Cormac Buchanan's come up to third. Veda ega was only 23rd this morning. He's fourth. Uriarte's fifth. So we are in that session area, L, where it's hammered out.
Absolutely, yeah. Good to see Cormac Buchanan enjoying a better weekend at things. Was disappointed after crashing out of the Dutch Grand Prix. Did pick up the top 10 here last year, which was his last top 10 in Moto3. So good to see the New Zealander inside that top 3, looking really strong. Gatama back up there as well. We've sung the praises of Rios, and rightly so. He's been in a very rich vein of form in his rookie season with Jesus Rios. Good to see the Riverfold Snipers team up there in P1. Will that stay, though? Looks like it won't for long with Marco Morelli on a very, very good lap time.
And this isn't too bad from Yamanaka either. This should put him in the top 5 if he can hold it. Let's take the Japanese rider to the line. Oh, he lost a lot of time in the final sector. And I tell you what, that's just pushed out Alvaro Carpe for the moment. Carpe's got a red sector going on through the first sector, but you don't want to be leaving yourself at the mercy of yellow flags potentially or track limits. Batama's gone top on a 25.8. Oh, talking of yellow flags, turn 13, that's the final corner. Who is it? I wonder. We will soon find out. Morelli has crossed the line to go fourth. That is, by my record, is not surely Alvaro Carpe. Is that what it looks like? No, it can't be Ryan Uriarte. Is it Salmela or Peroni, perhaps? I think it's Salmela. It is Salmela entering the pit. So we cycled through the entirety of the Red Bull KTM box there. Yeah, we got there in the end. The number 27, Enrico Salmela. Now that is a real problem because he's come down pit lane. He'll give that bike a once over. It doesn't look too badly damaged. But when you're in pit lane, you're not on the track, and he's down in 16th place. And judging by what's coming behind him, Eddie O'Shea, who has just got up into the top 3 in third, it just pushes him back further. So Rico Solmella is going to really need to push on with 5 minutes to go.
Good lap time from Carte, tucks into P6, but the even better one, as Kika rightly mentioned, from Eddie O'Shea, less than a tenth away from Batama at the top of the timesheet, straight from the Indonesian, who was a very disappointed figure at the end of the Dutch Grand Prix after touching out Yamanaka. A better lap time coming in, but still losing time in that final split is the Japanese rider, but P11 is good enough, but how long for?
Let's see, 4.5 minutes on the clock. Those who need a lap time at the moment, Adrian Fernandez, Valentin Peroni, Adrian Cruces. Let's see whether or not the number 11's bike is able to get back out there. Queso Gorman is down there in 21st place. At the moment, the thing with Pini and Kida is almost guaranteed to be going through Q1. Oh, Eddie O'Shea has really found the edge of the racetrack limits there. Whoa, that would have caught his attention. Turn 8, he's going through the gravel at some speed. He's done very, very well to keep that wheels in line. I was just about to say, with the likes of Kinos and Pini all but guaranteed to go through Q1, this is a big land of opportunity, a big opportunity for someone to squeeze on through, perhaps maybe wouldn't normally.
Yeah, O'Gorman P21. We're used to seeing the 67 in Q2, albeit not on a Friday afternoon in recent races, but that so far is good enough. A good lap time from the Irishman, who had to pass Carpe as well, so would have lost potentially a little bit of time going into the final couple of corners. Good enough for now, but 4 tenths away. O'Gorman will be wanting more to just be a little bit more safe. Yamanaka not going to improve on this lap time around after setting a red first split. The number 6 crosses the line, loses a little bit of time that final split, but it wasn't going to be a personal best lap time anyway. Fernandez's lap time has gone in the second split. Fernandez needs a very, very strong final couple of splits to make up some time from 4 tenths. It doesn't look like he's pushing too much on this lap time around though. Runs wide onto the green, so it doesn't matter anyway. This lap time will go away, but pressure on then for Fernandez with one Leopard Honda rider not coming out for the final 10 minutes after a big crash. They don't want to see their second rider in terms of what we're talking about, Adrian Fernandez, not going through into Q2 direct.
Got to say as well, Valentin Peroni needs that lap time to really come in. It's all done as far as Kilos and Pini are concerned, because they're not getting back out, as we've said now, and that's almost guaranteed, really with 2.5 minutes on the clock. Regarding, disregarding wizardry in terms of Leopard. They haven't even bothered down at Max Kilos' box, because they're not going to be able to gain anything. So the next time we'll see Max Kilos is going to be on qualifying Saturday, and it's going to be an FP2 tomorrow coming up at 8:40 local time. 2 minutes on the clock. Yamanaka still going very strong in the opening 2 sectors, but losing a little bit in that third sector. Big shout outs to Veda ega, Joel Esteban and Eddie O'Shea. That's a heck of a top 3, I've got to say, with Jesus Rios in tow in 4th. Good laps done by Denisha Buchanan. Vitelli as well has got himself provisionally through up into the top 14. Ryan Uriarte in 11th has been quick through this session, but he hasn't set that bank at that big attacking lap time later on in this session just yet, and I just wonder if he's coming at all. But the number 51 is there in 11th. Ogden has crashed, but is in there in 12th place. Kelso and Gordon completing it all at the moment. 90 seconds on the clock. We keep an eye on our timing screens and timing monitors up here in commentary, because this is when final lap times are being started. There are riders who are now on their final flying lap.
Yeah, not too much going on in terms of yellow and red sectors. Yamanaka set a red first split. Denisha was on a personal best lap time, but the lap time has properly gone away. He's 10 seconds over through the second split, so Denisha's either made a mistake or decided to sit up out of it. Vitelli is on a personal best lap time in sector 1, and Vitelli currently is inside the top 10, so he doesn't necessarily need to go quicker, and he's lost a lot of time in the second split as well. So with less than a minute to go, no one really is threatening to improve their time or take Batama off top spot. Ramastorfer, personal best lap time at ease, and then 9 tenths away through the second split as well. So in terms of riders penetrating the top 14, let's keep an eye on the number 88 of Uriarte, 3 tenths away through the second split. So as things stand, Uriarte the only threat to Casey O'Gorman in P14.
Yeah, the only threat, but let's see what he does through the third sector. It's not a lot. He's great through that third sector. Eddie O'Shea has parked it, and it looks pretty safe from that side of the garage. Let's wait and see. Kelso gets away with it. We're waiting for Marcus Uriarte to come across the line. He's had to deal with Valentin Peroni. These guys on their final flying laps are not going to get around for another. I tell you what, this is another disappointment for Valentin Peroni, because Peroni has not improved. Marcus Uriarte hasn't either. Peroni is in Q1 once again here in Moto3 on a Saturday afternoon. Can you believe it? Actually, judging by recent form, yeah, you can. Valentin Peroni 17th at the flag. Fernandez has taken it as well, so no Leopard racing machines moving through. Rico Salmella in 19th place. I mean, that doesn't look too promising either, and it's absolutely... Well, hang on a minute. Rico Salmella might just be about to save Set3's day in Moto3. Lost a bit of time in that final, in that second sector. He's 3/10 off. O'Gorman's not improving, and he's the rider at risk should Salmella improve his final flying lap time. We're keeping an eye on the number 27 on our timing screens. 3.5 tenths off through the second sector. 4.5 tenths off through the third sector. This is very much touch and go. He's going to need to do something pretty special in this final sector. Brian Uriarte is the one who's towing him around, but I don't think Salmella, unless he's going to do something majestic through the Queckenberg corner and all the way up this straight. Salmella, it might be a personal best. Does it sneak him in? It does! And at the expense of Casey O'Gorman, who was looking to move through for the first time on a Friday since Hungary. Rico Salmella does it the hard way, and Tech3 can breathe a sigh of relief as they do. Rico Salmella just about sneaking in there, the Finnish rider, knocking out fellow rookie and Irishman Casey O'Gorman there in 15th place. So O'Gorman, Uriarte, Fernandez and Valentin Peroni will join Max Keeles and Guido Pini. That is going to be a riot in Q1 tomorrow. No one could keep up with Veda ega 25.848. It is the Indonesian who leads the way on a Friday afternoon.
Potentially David Almanza too in Q1 with his illness today.
That is a great start, Al.
Thank you. Yeah, Pratama though in P1, great job from the Indonesian to be top dog on a Friday. As I mentioned, was really disappointed with how his Dutch GP ended, so great for Pratama to respond, and really impressive that from Rico Salmella. Did think watching him, he chucked it into turn 13. Got a bit of slipstream as well up the hill, which would have helped, but nailed that final split. Unfortunately for Casey O'Gorman, he was on the receiving end of it.
He took 700 off for the gap he was already at the third sector point, which is just at the top of this hill, by the time he crossed it. So it was some last sector from Rico Salmella, probably one of the best ones of the session so far. So Rico Salmella doing what he needed to do and just about squeezing through. Who else can we have a chat about here now? Cormac McCannon. Let's have a chat about the number 14, the New Zealander. There in 8th place. Great stuff from him. Also Joel Kelso. I know we're watching Australia, so great for the Antipodeans there. 8th and 13th and moving straight through into Q2. Massive sigh of relief for both.
Yeah, Buchanan's first automatic Q2 since Brazil when he was second on the opening day in Guyana. So yeah, good to see Buchanan up inside that top 10. Not the day Leopard Honda would have wanted. Adrian Fernandez walking back down pit lane, not quite sure why he's doing that, and he's not on his motorcycle, but he will be very disappointed.
He's probably walking about as far away from that box as possible, because I can't imagine the atmosphere is conducive to a very strong performance this weekend with both riders out in practice already. We'll have to wait and see exactly what they've got tomorrow. Adrian Fernandez does normally lay it on the line, it's got to be said, so we'll have to wait and see if he can move through. But I'll tell you what, Al, out of all those tomorrow, I'm not sure who is moving through, because that's going to be tough. Particularly you throw in Almanza, should he be fighting fifth?
Yeah, exactly. We'll wait and see if Almanza is on circuit, but that is a pretty stacked Q1. There's always plenty of riders who are quick enough to come through Q1, but you've got the championship leader, got Valentin Peroni with P4 last time out as well, Adrian Fernandez. So yeah, looking forward to that one tomorrow.
Can't wait. Veda ega it is, though, who leads the way, the Indonesian, bouncing back from his Assen disappointment to top Friday running here in Germany. Joel Esteban second, and Britain's Eddie O'Shea up there in third. Jesus Rios, fourth place for him. 3 Hondas up inside the top 4. Alvaro Carpe, fifth, and straight into Q2. Unlike championship leader Max Keeles, who will have to go through Q1. If you are just joining us a bit late, a big crash for Keeles. He's all okay. They couldn't get the bike fixed. That was over at turn 7. They lost most of their session, waiting for the bike to return. He is going to be spitting feathers about that. As you can see, Almanza and Keeles, who are top 2 on Sunday at Assen, our bottom two with no time set on Friday in Germany. And that brings to an end Moto3. Moto2 is coming up in the company of Lewis and Elle. Enjoy!
Afternoon, everybody, from the Saxon Ring. Well, Moto3 certainly produced a shock or two, didn't it, in that practice session completed moments ago. Let's see if Moto2 can live up to that as we continue along our Friday action. Moto3 and Moto2 paddocks begin to swap places. Another unique setup we have here at the Saxon Ring. We're in the commentary boxes just over to the right-hand side as you were looking, which is where the Moto2 and Moto3 kit is set up. So they'll make their way over, either on foot or if you're World Championship leader Manu Gonzalez, coolly on a scooter over into pit lane to get themselves set up for this Moto2 practice session. With 40 minutes coming up to decide who moves through automatically to the qualified two and who faces an extra 15 minutes work tomorrow afternoon if they are to fight for pole position. And on a day when already the World Championship leader and the rider third in the points in Moto3 are Q1 bound, is Moto2 set to spring a surprise of its own? They're saying we're going to get a surprise from the weather. Pristine, beautiful, sunny conditions, comfortable temperatures. Certainly if you, like myself, and other York in the comfortable live in Barcelona and are used to temperatures in excess of the 30s. Well, rather comfortable mid-20s for this afternoon's running. But no threat of any rain, so we are set there for dry practice in Moto2 and a dry MotoGP practice, their 1 hour session. To decide 10 that go through the Q2 is just over an hour away. Marquez goes for a 10th Saxon Ring victory in the MotoGP class, 13th in all classes this weekend, to really breathe some additional life